Well, good afternoon, everybody. I stopped by to grab some lunch, and between Robert and Rich Fiesta, they told me I had to work for my lunch. So here I am. It is really an honor to be here in this great Union City, in this great Union State, and with the greatest trade unionists in the country, our retirees. And I really mean that. There's no other group of workers, of union workers, that we in the trade union movement can count on when the chips is down, when the fire is hot, when our backs is up against the wall, than those who are in this room, the Alliance for American Manufacturers. I'm sorry, the Alliance for Retired Americans. But it's so good to be with you, and I want to thank my good friend, as he said, for many years, Robert Roach, for that introduction, for your leadership. Robert and Joe and Rich and the entire ARA team have been such amazing advocates for retirees and all working families. Let's give them a round of applause. Well, and to the staff and the union leaders and activists who wake up every morning and go to bed every night thinking about how to build worker power and how to grow our labor movement. We all know that a job in the labor movement is more than a job. It's a career. And it's that dedication and commitment that carries all the way through retirement. So on behalf of myself and Leah Schuler and all of the members of the AFL-CIO Executive Council, I want to thank you for your dedication and support and for your solidarity. Because look, I know that it hasn't been easy. We had our work cut out for us, but this isn't the first time that this movement has faced adversity, is it? We've been here before. We're seasoned. We're experienced. And we are resilient. And we're not afraid of a little adversity because we know we're tough and we're tenacious and that we will come out on the other side stronger and more determined than ever. And there is no stronger champion or advocate for older Americans and retirement security in this country than the Alliance for Retired Americans. You see, you're not afraid to meet challenges head on. That's what you've been doing for 25 years. And I know that's what this group will continue to do for the next 25 years. And this convention comes at an important time to our movement, at a moment when our dignity and our rights are being trampled on by the current administration. They're turning our government into an ideological weapon against us, occupying cities, criminalizing the poor and immigrants, scapegoating black and brown people, attacking and retaliating against anyone who opposes their agenda or anyone who does not look, live, or love like them. And they're consolidating their power and their wealth, stripping our right to collective bargaining and forming a union, our right to due process, our rights to free speech, and our right to choose our elected leaders. They're purging heads of agencies when the data don't back their agenda. They're replacing dedicated federal employees with partisan loyalists, and they're threatening to prosecute their political opponents. Look, to just boil all of this down, this administration has betrayed working people. And there has never been an administration as hostile to unions and working people as this one. And look, we lived through the Reagan administration. So that's saying a lot. And last month marked the one-year anniversary of Trump's executive order taking away collective bargaining rights for millions of workers. It was the largest act of union busting in American history. And then a few months later, the VA moved to nullify the contract of 300,000 workers that they had with the Veterans Affairs Department. They sold out the working class to the billionaire class. And American workers and retirees are looking for a movement that can take on the billionaires and the corporate interests. And this has led to extreme inequality. But workers throughout this country are looking for a movement that can stand up to tyranny, to autocrats, to the selfish and the self-serving who want to break our institutions and bust our unions so that they can pay us less, make our jobs less safe, and make our futures less secure. I submit to you that we are that movement that workers are looking for. We are the movement that is connecting everybody, all workers in this country, and there's nothing. Don't get this misunderstood. Don't get it twisted. That's right, sister. There's nothing that scares Donald Trump and his billionaire friends more than workers coming together. No matter what party you belong to, and saying we don't accept what's happening in this country, and we have the power to change it. And they might have all the money in the world, but unified workers beat billionaires every time. There's more of us than there is them. And we can rally this country around our vision for the future, where workers have money in their pockets, a voice on the job, a good retirement, and everyone in this country knows what we mean when we say it's better in the union. We have the power. And don't let anybody tell you that we don't. And see, that's the vision that our federation is fighting for. And that's why we're going to be out there every day from now until election. 15 million workers across our 65 unions fighting back against this current administration's attacks on workers. And our goal is to bring people together, to build coalitions, to engage communities, and standing strong. We have no choice, brothers and sisters. We have to do this because the threat to our movement and our nation has never been as real, never been as existential as it is today. But despite all those attacks, the momentum in this country is shifting. And that's what our haters don't understand. You see, we face dark moments before, but we've always picked ourselves up as a movement and found a way forward. When workers in the 1930s were told that organizing was impossible, that the bosses would never negotiate with us, they organized anyway. And we built the foundation of the middle class. When civil rights leaders in the 50s and 60s were told that change would take too long, that the system was too entrenched, we marched anyway, and we transformed this country. Every advance for working people has come through struggle, and every victory has been won by people who refuse to accept that things had to stay the way they were. And if we stay unified, if we lean our faith into the power of solidarity, I'm talking about true solidarity. I ain't talking about that phony stuff. I'm talking about real solidarity, where your strike is my strike, where your contract campaign is my contract campaign, When an injury to one, that's right. When an injury to one is an injury to all, it's not just something we say, but a true and honest commitment to stand with one another. Then we can beat back any attack and we can overcome any challenge. And look, here's the deal. The anti-worker policies coming from this administration are basically pushing workers into the labor movement. We were already popular. 68% of Americans now approve of unions. And this positive view is shared across generations. Think about this. 88% of workers between the ages of 18 and 35 believe in unions. And every day, more and more people understand how we fight for justice. Every day, more and more workers are turning to the labor movement because people want to be part of this fight. And that's what people want. They want to be able to share in the wealth that they wake up and help create every day. There's workers all over this country who feel abandoned by the political system. They're scratching their heads saying, I'm not better off today than I was 2 years ago, not by a long shot. And it's our job to engage with those workers, to show them that the labor movement can be their political home. You know, 2 years ago, we had a president who signed the American Rescue Plan and threw out a lifeline to families and communities. The American Rescue Plan had put money in people's pockets, and it kept our economy from skidding off the rails. It cut child poverty in half, and it provided pension security for millions of retirees. 2 years ago, the president was also able to get the Social Security Fairness Act across the finish line. That's right. Restoring full Social Security benefits to more than 3 million public employees, teachers, and their spouses. And this year we have a president who signed this big, ugly tax bill that threw tax cuts to billionaires and his cronies, while they cut off food assistance programs for children and seniors, cut off access to Medicare for millions of families, and continues to weaken our right to affordable health care, job safety, our right to vote, and our rights to a secure retirement. This administration wanted to make it harder for older Americans to qualify for disability benefits. But this alliance, it was this alliance, the ARA, that rang the bell and rallied the troops, and Trump bagged away from his plan. Thank you, because you did that. And this administration thought it could play fast and loose with our private Social Security data and without consequence until this alliance. It was this alliance, together with AFSCME and AFT, that said hell no and is fighting back in court. You know, our solidarity is how we protect our retirement and the retirement security of the workers of today and future generations. Solidarity and persistence. That's how we finally succeeded with the Butch-Lewis Act. And we protected the retirement benefits of workers and retirees in financially troubled multi-employer pension plans. Relief with no fees or cuts. And that's an incredible achievement. You did that. And the entire labor movement is indebted to you because you stood up, you spoke out, and you fought back. And our solidarity and persistence is going to not only protect, but strengthen Social Security. The answer is simple. And it's not raising the age. That's not the answer. But we can save Social Security by scrapping this damn cap. That's what we could do. Billionaires already receive enough tax breaks. They can't afford the Social Security tax, and it's time they pay their fair share. And we're not going to quit until they do just that. And this alliance is going to be critically important during the midterms elections. We need you. And now is the time to get involved with your state's 2026 labor program. Because we're running the labor movement, an unprecedented ground game. We're going to engage millions of workers about what's at stake. And we've been busy. And we have been reaching out to our members this month in 11 states, using an organizing blitz approach. You know, this organizing blitz approach, we go into states on a blitz. We go in for a couple of weeks and make sure we talk to working families throughout that state. And all of these conversations that we're having with union households, we feel it will allow us to calibrate and strengthen our program for the summer and the fall. And after we get through the midterm elections, trying different strategies in order to reach working people all over this country, going into 2028, we're going to be a well-oiled machine. And we're going to be throwing our full support around candidates who will deliver for working people. And we're making sure that working families know the issues, that they know what's at stake. And our registered vote, able to vote safely and without interference. And we know that Trump and his enablers will continue to rig the electoral process by taking away polling places or making voting more difficult, especially in poor communities and communities of color, by restricting access to parking lots at polling places, or ballot drop-off centers, and by intimidating voters. These folks will stop at nothing to suppress the votes of working people and union members. You know, they're trying to pass voter suppression bills like the SAVE Act, which the House just passed another version of the bill late last week, which would require extreme proof of identity, a passport. And if you hurry up, you get one with his name on it. You can't make this shit up. You know, these folks will stop at nothing than to cancel our franchise. You see, on election day, we're all equal. Everybody got to say so. And it's all built around a concept that we will fight for with our last breath. It's called democracy. And they're not going to take that away from us. When it's all said and done, our electoral and legislative work, it comes back to one simple thing. We want wins for working families, period. That's all we want. And as we head into these midterms, your activism is needed now more than ever. This is our opportunity to vote out the anti-worker dead weight and vote in union-endorsed candidates across the country, up and down the ballot, and flip this narrative. So, I just want to stop by and have lunch with you and tell you that the American labor movement is on the rise. Once again, we won't be held down. We won't be pushed back or shoved aside, because together we can emerge from this stronger, more united, with an opportunity to go on offense and advance our agenda. Unions at the center of shaping policy for workers, by workers, and protecting those hard-earned pension benefits and Social Security that we worked all our life for. We're fighting for a future where every worker has the right to organize, the right to bargain collectively, the right to a safe workplace, and the right to a living wage and a secure retirement. If we just keep doing what we do best, organizing, mobilizing, building community, and if we do it together, we can weather this storm. Not only survive, but we can thrive. So Alliance, we need you. We need to keep fighting for progress. We need to keep growing. Let's win the future we want to see. I want to thank you for all you do and for all the work you will do. Brothers and sisters, let's go win one for working families in this country. Thank y'all very much. Thank you.